Should Muslims be sent back home? Do they deserve to live in Europe? Why do Muslim communities create problems wherever they go? And here's the question that terrifies politicians. What would actually happen if Muslims return to their countries? Would Europe collapse, or would it finally heal? Every year, thousands of Muslims risk death crossing the Mediterranean to reach Europe. They flee Islamic countries claiming they're escaping war, poverty, oppression. But here's what they don't tell you. They're fleeing from something, and that something is Islam itself. If Islam is peace, why are they running? If Islamic governance is justice, why do they risk drowning to escape it? If Sharia is divine law, why do 57 Islamic countries produce nothing but refugees? The numbers are brutal. In 2016, Europe had 26 million Muslims. By 2050, that hits 75 million. France will be 18% Muslim, Germany 20%, Sweden 31%, Belgium nearly one-third. But do they integrate? No. Do they adopt European values? No. The statistics tell a horrifying story. The crime epidemic. Sweden, once Europe's safest country, is now the rape capital of the West. Over 58% of convicted rapists are foreign-born, predominantly from Muslim countries. Gang shootings increased 1,000% in 2 decades. Malmö went from peaceful city to war zone. Germany. After 2015, violent crime spiked. Asylum seekers committed over 174,000 crimes in 1 year. Cologne. New Year's Eve. Over 1,200 women sexually assaulted by predominantly North African Muslim men in a single night. France. 70% of French prisoners are Muslim, despite Muslims being only 8 to 10% of population. Banlieues are no-go zones where police face ambushes, ambulances need military escort, firefighters are attacked. UK. Rotherham grooming scandal. Pakistani Muslim gangs systematically raped over 1,400 white British girls over 16 years. Police knew. Social services knew. Nobody acted fearing racism accusations. Rochdale, Oxford, Telford, Derby. Same pattern across Britain. Netherlands. Moroccan youth crime so severe that Moroccan became synonymous with criminal. Politicians mentioning this get death threats. Norway. Oslo police reports show immigrants responsible for 100% of assault rapes. Not 90%, not 95%, 100%. This isn't isolated. This is systematic. This is cultural. This is what happens when medieval values collide with modern civilization. What if they left? Politicians claim Europe would collapse without Muslim immigration. Who will do the jobs? Let's examine this lie. Economic reality. Muslim communities have net negative economic contribution. In Denmark, non-Western immigrants consume 59% of tax surplus, despite being 10% of population. In Germany, Turkish immigrants after 60 years still show higher unemployment, lower education, massive welfare dependency. So what would close? Kebab shops? That's basically it. Which hospitals would close? Which tech companies would collapse? Which universities would shut down? None. What would actually happen? Crime would plummet. Rape statistics would normalize. Gang violence would disappear. No-go zones would reopen. Police could focus on actual crime. Prisons would empty. Terrorism would virtually end. Social impact. Women could walk safely at night. LGBT individuals wouldn't fear attacks. Jewish communities wouldn't need bodyguards. Teachers could show cartoons without death threats. Charlie Hebdo, 12 dead for drawing Muhammad. Bataclan, 90 dead. Manchester Arena, 22 dead, mostly children. London Bridge, 8 dead. Berlin, Christmas Market, 12 dead. Nice truck attack, 86 dead. All Islamic terrorism, all preventable. If these communities left, terrorism leaves with them. That's not prejudice, that's pattern recognition. Second generation will integrate. That's what they said 30 years ago. Reality? Second and third generation Muslims are more radical. First generation stayed quiet. Their grandchildren waving ISIS flags in European streets, cheering 9/11, celebrating Charlie Hebdo attacks. Younger Muslims show more support for Sharia, more hostility to Western values, more sympathy for terrorism. Why? They're caught between identities and choose radical Islam. The mosque becomes identity. The Ummah becomes nation. They're in Europe physically, mentally, in 7th century Arabia. Integration failed. 3 generations and it failed. How many more before admitting the experiment collapsed? The demographic weapon. Muslim birth rates versus European rates. European women average 1.5 children. Muslim women in Europe average 3+. This is Pew Research data. In Brussels, most common baby name, Muhammad. London, Muhammad. Oslo, Muhammad. Amsterdam, Muhammad. Demographic replacement in real time. Some Muslims openly brag, "We will conquer Europe not by sword, but by womb." Erdogan tells Turks in Europe to have 5 children. You are the future of Europe. When Muslim populations reach 20 to 30%, they become political kingmakers. Islamic parties emerge. Sharia gets debated. Democratic votes could end democracy. Iran was secular in the 1970s. Lebanon was Christian majority. Look at them now. The answer: should Muslims who reject European values be deported? Evidence screams yes. Not because of race. Because of ideology. An ideology rejecting everything Europe stands for. An ideology producing the crime statistics above. An ideology celebrating violence against apostates. An ideology stuck in medieval barbarism. If they want Sharia law, 57 countries have it. If they want gender segregation, go back. If they oppose free speech, numerous countries ban it. If European values disgust them, Europe shouldn't keep them. What would Europe lose? Kebab shops. That's the joke, but basically true. What would Europe gain? Safety, cohesion, ability to criticize religion without fearing murder, women's safety, LGBT rights, Jewish security, billions in welfare savings, empty prisons, no-go zones reclaimed. The question isn't whether this should happen. The question is whether Europe has courage before it's too late. Demographics guarantee if current trends continue, Europe as we know it ceases to exist. Sweden becomes Swedistan. France balkanizes. Germany faces civil conflict. Britain's grooming gangs multiply. This isn't alarmism. This is mathematics. The choice. Europe faces binary choice. Enforce values or lose them forever. Demand integration or accept disintegration. Deport those refusing European values or watch those values die. Is it racist to oppose child marriage? To support women's education? To believe gay people shouldn't be executed? These aren't fringe views in Islam. These are mainstream. Muslim immigration has been catastrophic failure measured by every metric: crime, integration, economic contribution, social cohesion, terrorism. The data is undeniable. So what do you think? Should Muslims who reject European values be sent back? What would happen if they left? Would Europe collapse or finally heal from failed multiculturalism? Comment below, but keep it factual. Facts don't care about feelings, and Europe's survival depends on facing them.